Balancing a chemical equation, step by step. Okay, what is a chemical equation? A chemical equation represents the reactants and the products, and you can see an arrow that divides the reactant from the products that represents the symbol of yield. In a reaction, atoms are neither created or destroyed. So, a chemical equation must have an equal number of each type of atom on both sides of the reaction arrow. What is important? Well, these numbers that you have in front of the substances are the coefficients. They can be changed in order to balance the chemical equation, but the subscripts indicate the number of atoms of each type in the compound. They cannot be changed. Here you can see in this equation the reactants to the left and the products to the right, and this arrow represents yield. Let's begin by counting the number of atoms. As you can see here, only one atom of carbon, 4 atoms of hydrogen, and 2 atoms of chlorine in the reactants. In the products we have 1 carbon, 1 hydrogen, and 5 chloride. Look at this. You have 4 chloride here and 1 here. Then you add 4 plus 1 is 5. As you can see, the number of atoms of hydrogen and chlorine are not the same, so this equation is not balanced. What we should do? Well, we add a 4 in front of hydrochloric acid, and what happened? This 4 is multiplying the hydrogen, so you have 4 hydrogen, and this 4 is also multiplying the chlorine, then you have 4 chlorine. But in the other compound you have also 4 chlorine. So at all you have 8 chlorine. Now you can see that carbon and hydrogen are balanced, but chlorine is not. Here I have 8 chlorine in the products and only 4 in the reactants. What should I do? Well, I multiply by 4 and then I will have 8 atoms of chlorine in the reactant and 8 atoms of chlorine in the products. And we say that the equation is balanced. Look at this. Here we have a reaction between tetraphosphorus dicaoxide. Tetraphosphorus because I have 4 phosphorus, and dicaoxide because I have 10 oxide anions. But why we use prefixes in this case? Because the first element is a nonmetal and the second one always is a nonmetal. So nonmetal plus nonmetal, we use prefixes to indicate the number of atoms. And remember that the second one always changes the N into "ide." Well, let's see, we have 4 phosphorus in the reactant, but only 1 in the products. 11 oxygen in the reactant, 4 in the products, 2 hydrogen in the reactant, and 3 in the products. So this equation is not balanced. But if I put the 4 in front of phosphoric acid, well, this substance is phosphoric acid. I recognize that it's an acid because of a hydrogen in the front. So, this 4 is affecting the hydrogen. I have 4 times 3, 12 hydrogen. 4 times 1, 4 phosphorus. And 4 times 4, 16 oxygen. Now, the phosphorus is balanced, but is not the same with oxygen and hydrogen. If I put a 2 in front of water, then I will have 12 atoms of hydrogen and 16 atoms of oxygen. As you can see now, the equation is balanced. 4, 4, 16, 16, 12, 12. In this case, I can see that I have 8 atoms of sulfur here, and here I have only 1. I don't write the number 1. I put it here in order that you understand that when you don't see a number, it's because you have only 1 atom of this type. Well, I have 8 sulfur here and only 1 here. What should I do? Well, if I multiply by 8, look, now I have 8 sulfur, but what happened? 8 times 2, I have 16 oxygen. What should I do then in order to balance? Well, I think that better I multiply by 8. If I put an 8 in front of here, and now I have 16 oxygen, 16 oxygen, 8 sulfur in both sides. In this case, I have 2 atoms of hydrogen and 2 atoms of oxygen. And here 2 of hydrogen and only 1 of oxygen. What should I do? Well, if I multiply here by 2, I will have 2 oxygen both sides. But the hydrogen is also affected, so 2 times 2, I will have 4 hydrogen. And here I have only 2. What should I do? Oh, I multiply by 2, and then I will have 4 hydrogen, 2 oxygen, 2 oxygen, and I consider the equation balanced. When you are dealing with polyatomic ions, you consider the polyatomic ion as a unit. Then you don't divide, you don't say sulfur, oxygen, 4. You say sulfate, nitrate. So, you say I have 1 calcium, 1 sulfate, 1 sodium, and 1 nitrate. In the other hand, you have 1 calcium, 1 sulfate, 2 sodium, because here the sodium have a 2, and 2 nitrate, because this number is affecting the whole ion. So, if I multiply by 2 here, I will balance the equation, sure. Then I will have 2 sodium, 2 sodium, 2 nitrate, 2 nitrate, and the equation is already balanced. In this case, it's a combustion reaction that always produces carbon dioxide and water. In this case, you have 1 carbon, but you have 4 hydrogen and 2 hydrogen, and here you have 2 oxygen and 3 oxygen, because remember you have 2 here and 1 here, that makes 3. So, if I put the 2 in front of the water, I will have 4 hydrogen and 4 oxygen. What is the difference now? That I have only 2 oxygen here. But if I put the 2 in front of oxygen, everything will be solved and the equation is already balanced. Here you have an exercise. You can stop the video at any time and do it. Here another one. Stop the video. Here you have another one. Stop the video. Here you have another one. Stop the video. Other exercises. Other. And that's it. Then I hope that now you will be very well balancing chemical equation. Thank you.